This is Jared from Commit to Quality, and in today's video I'm going to walk you through how we can execute Playwright tests in Azure DevOps pipelines. So I'm going to start from the beginning of actually creating a new repo inside Azure DevOps, and then I'm going to set up the pipeline. If you've already got a repo, then you can skip this first part and move straight to where my pipeline setup steps are happening. In Azure DevOps, I'm going to be inside repos. I'm going to click the drop down up here and I'm going to say new repository. I'm going to name this example pipeline and hit create. This is a brand new repo here. I now want to make sure that I can clone this. And to do this, I'm going to click the clone button and click the copy here. I'm going to open up Git Bash, and inside the directory you want to be inside, so in my case, I'm inside where I want. I'm going to say git space clone and hit paste on this and hit enter, and this is going to clone it all for us. So that's cloned it all for us. I can now cd into the example pipeline, and all I have at the moment is the README file that's created. Now, I actually already have a Playwright project that I can use. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move over into Windows Explorer, and I'm inside the example pipeline. I'm just going to paste a Playwright project I already have, and all this does, so let me open this up. All it does, if we go to the test, is we have this test here which outputs the process env variable. It's going to go to the page and expect the page to have a given URL. Now, with all this in here, I'm not going to do anything else. My Playwright config is pretty basic setup. It's got one project. There's no retries in here. We're not using this environment variable, so really this could just be set to 0. Doesn't really matter. And I'm going to push this up. So there's two ways you can do it. And if you watch my Git videos, you'll know how to do it through the command line. If you haven't, I'll put a link to those in the description. Or you can do it directly inside VS Code, where we can see we've got all the changes here. So all I'm going to do is say init as a commit message to first commit. I'm going to say always on here, sync the changes, which is going to push these up to the repository in Azure DevOps. So if we go back to here and we refresh the page, you can now see I've got the Playwright test with everything I want inside it. So now I'm in a position where I can start to set up my pipeline. And to do this, it's going to be fairly simple. We can say pipelines, and let's create a new pipeline. In here, it's an Azure repos git YAML. So click this, and we've got to pick the repository we want. So in this case, it's going to be example pipeline. And if you already have an Azure pipeline YAML file, you can select it and you're all good to go. But I'm assuming if you're watching this video, you're going to want to do it from scratch. So let's use the starter pipeline, because this is going to give us quite a few nice things we want. So I'm just going to get rid of the comments here, and I'll walk through exactly what's happening, and I'll also show you the bits, and we'll step into and discuss the bits that I'm going to be adding. So trigger main. We want this, and what the trigger section defines is that the pipeline will be triggered when changes are made to a specific branch. So in this case, it's the main branch. So if I just go back to repos, just to make sure, we got example pipeline here, and we can see the branch is main. So anytime that it changes to the main branch, this pipeline is going to execute. Perfect. So in your case, we have master instead of main. Change this to master and you're all good to go. Next, then we have the pool section. And this is going to specify the virtual machine image that's to be used for the pipeline run. So in our case, the virtual machine image is going to be Ubuntu latest. You can set up your own pools that you can host locally. You can use Windows latest. Just do a quick Google on this and it'll give you all the different things you can do. I'll probably touch on setting up local ones in another video as well. So stay tuned for that. And then the steps section basically define all the steps you want to do inside your pipeline. So we're actually going to change these. This one we're not going to need because this is echoing out. This is just outputting to the console, hello world. So let's actually say the first thing we want to do is do a checkout task, which is going to make sure that we can clone our repo to say we want to use it. So I'm going to say checkout, and we're going to say self because we're already inside the example pipeline repository, and then going to add a display name. And all this is it's going to output what the task is. So I'm going to say checkout repo. And we'll see this when the pipeline executes. What I mean by the display name just makes things a little bit easier for us. Now down below we have scripts, which is where we can execute our kind of command line things, but we don't want to do any of this. What we actually want to do is say go into the Playwright folder. So at the moment we've cloned that in the pipeline, we've cloned this repo, but if I done npm install here, it's going to cause problems because all our packaged JSON files are inside this Playwright test. So what I can do, if I can copy this, I'll say cd Playwright test, and that's just saying go into the Playwright test folder. And now the next thing we want to do is make sure that we install all our packages. We'll say npm install. I'm also going to say npx playwright install, so we can install the browser dependencies. And then the last line I want to do is just execute this. So this one will be executing playwright test, and we'll say only execute the project of Chromium. Realistically, in my example, I don't need this because I've only got one project, but let's just add it in for the sake of it. And display name, again, we want to make this applicable to what we're doing in here. So this can be execute playwright tests. Awesome. So what I'm actually going to run this pipeline, but we're going to see there's going to be a problem. So let's say save and run, and let's just say save and run. This will have created our YAML file now for us as well. So next time we do a pull from Git from this repo, we're going to see that a YAML file has been added, and I'll show that. So you see, check out repo. So this is the display name. So if I change this to subscribe, this is where they would output. But realistically, you want to name your steps exactly what they're doing. So in this case, it's just checking out and cloning the repository. And here we've got the execute playwright test, which has failed. And it's given us an error message, but it's failed because we expect it to go to commit quality, but it hasn't gone to anything. It's undefined. And the reason for this is, and there's a reason why I picked my .env package. So if you've seen that video, you'll see how you can work with environment files. But the reason I picked this is because at the moment we haven't actually set what if we're using local or prod. So we want to do that in our pipeline as well. So let's show how we can do this. And I'm going to use local, so we'll point directly to commitquality.com. So let's go back to the pipeline, say edit on here, and we're missing a step, which is basically to set what we want our environment variable to be. So I'm going to do this before the checkout one, and it could be after it because it doesn't really matter as long as you do it before the actual tests are installing and executing. But what I'm going to say here is script. We'll do an echo on it as well. And let's say VSO task.set variable equals env in caps because that's what we want, and then we want to close that off and say we want it to be local, and we'll add a display name to this one as well because it's always best practice to name it something that's useful, and we'll say set env variable. Well, we've only got display, which is why it's been highlighted. And one thing to know with YAML as well is the indentation really does matter. So you want to make sure that all these spaces are correct. Otherwise, you can have problems. So if I put display name here, you're going to see we've got a red squiggly line, and it's because we're saying it's an invalid YAML structure. So that's just one thing to be aware of. But in this case now then, what we're saying is we sent out the local environment, we set an environment variable of env to local, which means we should go to commitquality.com. Remember, we have this trigger set up here for main. So I can save this, and because I'm doing this directly on main, what it actually means is I don't need to click this run again. If I just go back to pipelines and go into example pipeline, you can see this has triggered another build because we have directly done something on the main branch. Oh, I think I've misspelt something because the set env variable has gone wrong. So let's just go back to this a moment and let's have a look what I've done wrong. So I said set variable. We've misspelt variable. It needs to be variable equals env local. That should all be good. So let's save this one and go back to the pipeline. Should execute a new one now for us, and let's see what happens. Let's click into this. There we are. The env variable is set. Going into the execute playwright test, which is doing our npm install and installing all of the browser dependencies for us. Here we are. We saw that output. We can see the test has passed, which is great. But also you can see it's now output that commitquality.com. Now, the other thing I touched on is that we've added this YAML pipeline file. So if we go back into Visual Studio Code and we pull the latest version of main, let's say pull, see it's doing some things. And when we go back here now, what you're going to see is we have this Azure Pipelines YAML file set up. So we can change it from directly in here, push it up, or we can go back into the pipeline and click the edit button and do it from here. I'm showing you editing things directly on main, but the real process would be you create some kind of feature branch, you then create a pull request, and you merge that into main. But in this case, all I'm showing is how you kind of set up the pipeline. So the last thing I want to show then is a failing test and how we can get really good debugging capabilities from outputting the failures as part of the pipeline. And this is something I really loved when I started working with Playwright, because going from Selenium days, we never had things like traces. We had videos, but they weren't great. We had some screenshots, which didn't help. But with the trace viewer capability, it makes debugging on pipelines so much easier. And I'll show you what I mean. So what I want to do is I want to force this test to fail. So let's just check this in for a minute and say force failure. And let's commit this. Once again, I am doing it all on the main branch, which is bad practice, but for the flow of this video, it's fine to do, and we'll push in. So let's go back to DevOps, and we should see a new run has happened. So let's click on this, and let's just wait for this. And what we're going to expect is the test to fail because we've turned that process env variable from commit.quality when the value comes through to an actual string. So it's going to tell us that we expect the page of commitquality.com to have a URL of this string, which of course is incorrect. Awesome. So we saw that's failed. And we can see here that it's failed because of what I said, that we expected this string when really it was this, and it's given us all the retry in. But it's also saying here, attachment. They've added the video, a screenshot, and a trace, because in my config file, if I go here, you can see that we say traces retain on failure, video retain on failure, and screenshots only on failure. So whenever there's a failure, it's going to output these. But at the moment, I can't see these. I can't do anything with those. I want to show you how we can then use these and look at our tests which are failing in the pipeline, which is a big game changer. To do this, let's say we want to edit the pipeline again, and I want to add something else now, which is I'm going to add something called a task. And what this task is going to allow, it's going to allow us to publish build artifact. So I'm going to say publish build artifact one. I forgot that there, so that's why it doesn't like that. In here, we're going to say it takes inputs. First is going to be the path to publish, which we'll set in a second. And then also we want to say what the artifact name should be, which in this case we can just name it, I don't know, test results, which is basically what it's going to be. Now the path to publish, we want to say get our repo, go into the Playwright test folder like we did here, and then go into the test results folder, because that's where they'll all be installed, here inside test results. So to do this, I can say system default working directory, which should be the base of what our repo is. And then I can say Playwright test. And I would, even though I've typed this out, I would just suggest actually copying and pasting, because you'll see I probably have made a typo somewhere and I'm going to have problems. These need to be indented, which is why this is kicking off, because they're children of that. And also what we want to do is set the display name to something. So this can be output results. So I'm going to save this. And let's see what happens with this. So let's go back to the example pipeline. It's already triggered one because we've done that all on main. And hopefully now we'll see tests are going to fail and the results will be output. Oh, actually, I think I've missed something. So when this fails, I think we've missed a condition, which is really good to show because we want this to happen on failure or success. So what you've just noticed is the tests have failed and it skipped this output results and it's just finished immediately. So what we can do is inside the pipeline here, we can set a condition to say it should this task should be execute whether the steps above fail or pass. And this is really easy to do as well. So I'm actually going to put it here. It can go anywhere, but I'll say condition succeeded or failed, and that should all be good. So now what we're saying is run this task depending on if it succeeds or fails. So we always output the build artifacts. Let's save that again, and hopefully this one is all good. Let's go back. It's triggered a new one. So you can see how valuable having this trigger is as well while it's running. And this is how your pipeline then can, execute as part of your pull request complete, because when you merge into main, it'll trigger all this off and you're all good to go. It failed. Output results has happened. It said that it's done something, put them to artifacts. So now then what we can do is let's just go back to this pipeline. And what we can see now is in related, we've got one published. And if I click into this, we can see we have this test results folder. And inside it has the test that failed and it's got the screenshot, the traces. So if I want, what I can do is let's just download this artifact. Of course, we're going to want to unzip it as well. So with the unzipped version, I can go in now, I can look at the screenshot, I can see, okay, here I'm on this page. I can go to the video, and it showed me what's happened, which is just a simple case of navigating to the page because there's nothing else going on. But also we have the trace. So if I go to trace.playwright.dev, I can actually drag this trace in. And look, it's given me exactly what we'd see when we want to debug things locally, and it's given us all the call. If you've never seen this trace viewer output, I'd suggest watching my trace viewer video, which I can put a link to in the description and on the screen. But here we are. It shows you can easily debug now, and you have a bit more faith now that you know what you're doing with your Playwright tests, and this will work on succeed or fail. So even if you just want to do a HTML report that you generate as part of your success or failed, you can do all that with this. And that's all I really wanted to show today, which was a quick setup of, creating a repo in Azure DevOps, executing Playwright tests, setting environment variables, showing how you can really easily debug tests using build artifacts. Of course, there's so much more we can do. So we can set up like cron jobs if you want this to run specific times in the day. If you want your test pack to run the end of the day or start of the day, you can do all this. And if you want videos on that, please definitely drop comments down below, because I want to know what you want to see and what you want help with. Of course, if you do have any questions, please also drop them down below. A like and subscribe is massively appreciated. I've also enabled super thanks on my videos, so that means you can help support me, my channel, and the running of my website. And as always, thank you for watching and have a good day.